What's up, y'all? Welcome back to HRT. I'm excited to say that this week's guest is one of my good pals, Nate. I met Nate through the HRT Discord server. He is the best mod I've ever had, and I appreciate him endlessly. I just recorded the episode, and we shared so many laughs. I think this was the episode where I've laughed the most, and it was really fun, and I'm really excited for you to hear it. He's got a really inspiring story that I think a lot of people are gonna relate to. So I'm excited for you to hear. Um, I appreciate everybody who's joined the Discord server. If you haven't, please do so. It's free. You don't have an excuse. Patreon. I want to make merch. If you want merch, help me and join the Patreon. Short and sweet this week. That's about it. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and Instagram at HRT Podcast. I post on there every day, and that's about it. Let's go talk to Nate. Thanks, guys. Nathan, where are you from?
Rhode Island, and
yeah.
nobody knows where that is.
I do. You're just a state over.
Yes, that's right, because you're New York.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, New
I love
York.
that.
I'm on Long
So
Island, so we're very close.
yeah, I literally go to New York probably once a year. I was just there this summer for like a family vacation.
Oh my god! Should have came to visit. What the
fuck? Yeah, like for sure, just strolling up. Actually, I started listening to this podcast like maybe a month ago.
Oh
And I really inserted myself here, but I'm happy to be here. So
all within a month, you became a guest and a mod on Discord.
Yeah, I'm kind of an overachiever. Sorry.
Please, I love you. By the way, if you see me looking up, I am looking at you.
I kind of noticed that. I was like, should I be looking up too? Like, I was like, where are you gonna look up to, bro? Like, what are you talking about?
People just look up. Oh god. Oh, I love you. This is my favorite. Okay. So, even though I know the answer because you're literally like an hour and a half away, how is Rhode Island with trans stuff?
So, it's actually really interesting. I wouldn't say it's the most accepting. But for people that are non-binary, like don't want to necessarily pass as a gender. So like for my experience, I noticed like when I was kind of that like blend between like feminine and like masculine, I got like hate crime just like trying to grab my drink at Starbucks. So I was like, ooh, like your boy needs to yeah, I was like, this is wild because like yeah, it was weird because I was like walking into Starbucks and of course it was, you know, that like older white cis guy and he like I accidentally bumped into him. Like, yeah, sorry, I shouldn't have bumped into you, but like I don't think that requires me to get called the F slur. So I was like, baby girl, relax. It's okay. Like, we're all here just to get our coffee. So I just laughed at him, and that like really irritated him.
Tends to.
It really does. But then I also like ran out of there. So
yeah, that happened to me once. I think it was on a train. I think it was on the way back from Pride. And of course, I was dressed in rainbow. I was dressed in pink and blue, because why not? And I think there was just a group of guys around our age, probably, that were just drunk and probably didn't even know I was trans, but knew that it was Pride. And just screaming faggot at me and whatnot and my friends. And I was like, oh, this is fun. This is
great. Thanks so much. I needed that little reminder.
But I think actually Clara said it on the last episode that he got called the F slur one time, and he was like, "Thank you. That's actually really affirming."
Yes, because because I am a little gay boy. So thank you so much for that. Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, I think it's a blend. I think it like it also depends on where you are in Rhode Island too. Like
mhm.
if you're in Providence, you're well, I guess not in your case. But like, oh god, that was so mean. Like in the city, it's like more okay. But if you go to like Cumberland or Coventry, those like
Mm,
rural areas,
mm,
um, I'm concerned.
mm. Much like New York, I feel like.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
depends where you are,
mhm.
but at least it's not like Texas or Florida.
Yeah.
So,
So right, right, exactly. And like I got to keep my privilege in check cuz like like overall like I am safe and as much as I do want to leave this state, it has been very good to me. So,
mm. Do you have anywhere you want to go?
Vermont. Yeah. I right?
Bitch, me
Oh
too. Me
my
too.
god. I'll see you there. Like how
Uh,
could you not want to go to Vermont? Like
it's my dream. I want to live
right?
next to a fucking mountain. I want to
Yeah.
live next to a ski mountain and just
Mhm.
live my little fucking log cabin life.
Yes, that's right. You ski. I when I found that out, I thought that was so impressive. Oh, oh, oh. But yeah, I thought that was so impressive because I
Thank
can
you.
skateboard, but skiing is just like a whole nother level. So mad respect to you
Oh my
and
god.
all the skiers out there.
We'll move to Vermont. I'll teach you. It'll be great.
Yes, we'll really live.
Together.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Excited. Oh god. Okay. Whew.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
moving on to the next topic, which everyone knows what comes next. I
Mhm.
feel like it's just like everyone knows I talk about where you're from, and then I talk about testosterone, and then I talk about top surgery. It's like I
But
think you're
it's
all getting what happens here every
okay,
time.
but you know what? For like me, I need that predictability. So like keep at it. It's fine. We love it.
Oh, dude, I love you. Okay. Um, are you on testosterone?
I am, and it's my love, actually. Um yeah, so I am on testosterone. I do shots. And
Mhm.
I just hit my 1 year on May 6th.
Oh my
Um,
god!
yeah,
Congrats, bro.
thanks. My future sister-in-law calls it my rebirth day, which I really love.
I love that. That's
It's cute.
amazing. What's your dose on testosterone?
My dose is point 0.4 for
You sub Q.
yeah, no. I am. Yeah.
You're intramuscular?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you sure? You don't
Yes,
sound very confident.
because I'm just like you and I don't understand this shit whatsoever. I texted my nurse friend and I was like, "Girl, I'm going to be asked this question. I need you to talk me through this." I'm still sounding like an idiot, so clearly that conversation didn't go well.
You know me though. I don't fucking get it either. I don't even know why I ask
I,
it.
no, I would ask too if you're stereo because like it is interesting. I just don't understand why it's interesting. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, see, I ask it for the people that are listening and do understand, so they can
Right.
get a sense, or like a younger kid who like wants to start testosterone, who like
Yeah.
whatever. But I don't fucking get it. So
Yeah, probably shouldn't be learning from us, but
no, take everything I say with a grain of fucking salt,
right,
bro.
right.
So your dose is point four. You said.
Yeah, I get a lot
See,
of I get a
I
lot of
don't get it.
TGs.
I don't get it because like I'm on. I don't. that's not how I measure it, or I've been taught to measure it. Like
Yeah, how
I
do you
take
measure it?
100 milligrams
So
every
you
2
just point
weeks.
one,
Oh.
right? Right?
I
No,
guess.
no, I don't do 400. No, that was stupid. No, that was stupid. Oh my god. There's no way. Yeah, I don't get it either.
Oh
Like, I
god.
say shit and then my brain catches up and it's like, dude, like, did that actually make sense? Like, are you sure about that?
Yeah, like me too, and I have a podcast. Not good.
Right.
Well, since we figured nothing out, moving on.
Go team.
You said you said you've been on it for a year, right?
Yeah, a little over a year now.
It's like, now, how do you feel about shot day? Do you have shot anxiety? Do you love it? Do you hate it?
It's been a constant ongoing struggle, and it like kind of makes me sad to say that, because like I want to love it. I want to be like, yeah, like T-shot day, like let me get a routine. It just does not work. Like when I first started, I was like, it's not that big of a deal, like relax, king. And this is actually really embarrassing, but when I was first doing it, i I'm a huge like musical fan. I'm very theatrical. And so I love Hamilton, and you know the song My Shot, not gonna miss my shot. So I would sing that and be like, I'm not gonna miss my shot, like this is my time, like here we go. And then it would and then 2 hours later I'd still be listening to that song, and it's like, okay, you're missing your shot, dude, like. um, so yes, I do have really bad shot anxiety. um my nurse friend now does do my shots for me.
Slay.
Yeah, I'm extremely grateful.
Do you do it every 2 weeks?
Every week.
Are you sure you're on IM then?
I knew you were gonna ask me that. Yes, I'm sure. I triple checked with her. I just like I'm a little twink and I need all the tea juice. Like I think that's it, honestly.
Okay, valid. Oh god. Okay. So you have somebody else do your shot for you
Yeah.
every week.
Yeah.
So like what? Do you and your friend need to like hang out once a week so that you
Yeah, yeah, we literally call it well, actually we first called it our tea and tea time, tea and talk time. And then now yeah, because we're so creative. I think we're hilarious. And now we call it our HRT time in honor of this podcast. So yeah,
that's so fucking cute.
yeah,
God,
it's
adorable.
But yeah, like, and she like, it's so funny because so she's a nurse and like giving shots is like not even like remotely of a thing for her, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay, what's going on here, can we get the AC on? Like, and she's like, you need to relax. And so she'll like talk me through it like a nurse would. She's like, so like, did you get your homework done last night? Did you and like she's like asking me all these questions. We're like going on about our day, and the next thing I know, I'm getting stabbed, and
do you get it in the leg or
yeah,
in the buttocks?
no, we like alternate thighs. I think if I wanted to get in my ass, she would do it for me, but it's all right.
If I wanted my ass, she'd be there.
Honestly, that scares me. Like when I hear like, because do you get it?
Do I get it in the butt?
I'm such a middle school boy.
I do sometimes. I remember. See, I think on an episode with Jackson, when we were talking about how hard it is to fucking make that swivel. I can't do it.
I don't.
I can't.
Yeah. I don't blame you. I couldn't.
I don't get it. I don't turn that way.
Right. Like, I don't,
Not
like,
for me.
like, should you be able to? I don't know.
Maybe I'm just not flexible. I don't know. But if
Fair
I
enough.
have somebody else do it for me, I usually right in the butt.
Okay, fair.
I took my shot last night. I was like 4 days late.
It's
Thank
fine.
you.
It's fine. You did it. You did it.
Yeah, I did it, but I bled everywhere. Like
No.
everywhere. Like
Oh
I
no.
knew it too. I put it in, and sometimes you just know. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain kind of pain when it goes in. You're like, oh,
Yep.
this one's
Yes.
gonna
This.
bleed.
Yes. Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. It like I don't know for you, but like for me, my heart drops and I'm like, all right, here we go.
Mhm,
Okay, like you, it's
mhm,
scary.
mhm. Yeah, I I knew it, and I'm like, okay, time to take it out. I took it out, and I didn't look because it's hard to watch blood gush out of you like that. So I took it out, and I immediately grabbed toilet paper, sitting on the toilet, obviously,
Yeah, right.
and and I grabbed the toilet paper, and it was like a 2 second thing. I went from here to here real quick, and I looked down a pool of blood
Mm-mm.
all down my
Mm-mm.
toilet. It was
Stop.
horrible,
No.
horrible.
Oh my
I was
god.
like, It looks like I just fucking murdered somebody." Like,
You just murdered yourself real quick. No worries here.
like, and I called out to my girlfriend. I'm like, "Hey, can you get me more toilet paper? Like, I'm having a problem." And she
Just a little
poked her head
problem.
in. Yeah, she poked her head in. I was like, "It's not what it
Don't
looks
worry
like."
about it. Please. Girl, please don't judge me. Just give me the paper towel.
No, dead ass. Like, and people wonder why I fucking put my shot off because
Yeah. Because like, why
it's a
do you want to
lot.
deal with that every 2 weeks? Wait, are
Mm,
you every week or two
every
weeks?
2 weeks.
Oh,
2
okay.
weeks.
Yeah. Yeah, that's no. I remember one time I did my shot and like this was scary. I thought I was gonna lose my leg. So my leg, I got this like massive shooting pain all throughout my leg, and my knee like my leg
Mm,
like whoa, yeah. Oh my
mm-hmm,
god. Wait, that's
mm-hmm.
happened to you? Oh, that
Last
makes me
night.
feel so much
Last
better.
night. Mm-hmm.
Wait, that happened to you
Mm-hmm.
last night? Oh
Mm-hmm.
my god.
It happens at least like once every couple of months. Like it's not like numb,
No.
but like it it starts from the injection spot and like shoots down my leg.
Yes.
Ah, it's
We must
scary.
be hitting something wrong. We have to. Like that like there's I refuse to believe that that's supposed to happen every
Mm-mm.
week or every
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Well, I think I've been told that
Yeah.
when I when it bleeds like that, it means I hit like a blood vessel or something.
Okay.
And then last night I was sleeping or I was laying down on that side, like putting all that pressure
And it
on the
hurts,
injection
right?
spot, and that's when my leg started to hurt. And I didn't move.
Ah,
And I was like,
yeah.
"This isn't good."
Yeah. So,
Yeah, sometimes it just feels like numb for no fucking reason. I don't get it.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you. I don't get it either.
Just trying to get things.
Ah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so next topic.
Woo!
Um, did you get top surgery or are you getting top surgery?
Sorry, I just took a sip. That was the worst timing ever. So I actually just got approved for top surgery. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yay!
It was crazy because so like I was driving and and I
Yes, we know what driving looks like.
good, yes, great. So I hate talking on the phone while I'm driving, and I got a phone call, and I was like, it's probably some like stupid scam or like whatever. Like I'm just ignoring it because I hate phones. So I parked obviously, and I saw like you know how like on iPhones it like transcribes the voicemail for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
saw like Nathan, you're approved. didn't listen to the rest of the voicemail, called that number back, and I was like, hi. And then it like dawned on me that like I didn't listen to the voicemail, so I have no idea who called me. Like, what did they say in the voicemail? What am I supposed to say? And I was just like, hi, this is Nathan, and the girl starts laughing at me. I was like, okay, here we go. So she was like, yes, like I called you. Let's get you for your surgery date, whatever. And she goes, I have a date for you, but it's really soon. I was like, okay. And she's like, no, like really soon, because it's a cancellation. And in my head, I was like, homegirl, please just tell me, because I'm gonna scream in your ear if you don't tell me. So I like take a deep breath and I'm like, please just tell me the date. And she's like November 2nd. And I was like, November 2nd. And she was like,
Oh
yes, I know it's soon. And I was like, okay. And she was like, really? And I was like, yeah, like it'll like it's fine. It's like a month away. And she was like, well, no. I was like, okay, maybe not a month. And she was like, it's like 2.5. I was like, that's basically a month. It's fine. I can do it. And she was like, okay. So
wow,
long
November
story short.
2nd. Damn, that's soon. Where are you going for it?
It's like a Providence and hospital. I think it's like Care New England. Yeah. Um
Slay.
yeah, I really like my doctor. So like one thing that like I was really nervous about was like doing the whole like, oh, I have to like prove that like I can get this surgery. I'm trans enough, that pipeline. And so like in like when I was getting ready for the consultation one, I was like, okay, this is my story. This is why I deserve to get this surgery. Yeah, he didn't give like a flying fuck. He walked in and he looked me up and down. He was like, Nathan, and I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay, let's talk your medical history. And I was like, okay, great. And then so like I'm still like waiting for that question. Why do you want surgery? Never asked me. I feel very lucky for that.
Yeah. I feel like my surgeon was the same way. How long did it take you to like get approved for it?
Little over a month. Yeah,
Okay.
this process has been super speedy. Well,
Nice. Did you need like a a note from a therapist or anything?
yeah, and that's the shit that took the
Yeah.
longest. I needed a note from my therapist. I needed a note from my primary, um, and then I think this is like standard. It needs to like get approved through insurance. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I only remember needing a note from my therapist at the time.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
and my endocrinologist, I think, when I used an
What?
endocrinologist for testosterone. An endocrinologist.
What is that? That's a fun word. I'm so sorry.
I'm laughing because I barely know the answer.
Okay,
Like,
that makes me feel better. It's like your face was like, this dumbass.
I'm like, oh no, I don't know the answer.
I mean, no, never mind. Like that, like, oh, it just clicked for me.
I think it's a doctor
Yeah.
who specializes in. I think a lot of people who have diabetes go to an endocrinologist, and
Oh.
people who have thyroid problems,
Oh, so I
and
wonder.
people who like need hormones.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah, I mean,
Fact check me on that.
I'm good enough with it.
Enough for me.
Yeah, as long as you give me an answer, I'm like, okay, slay.
Wait, so then how do you get your testosterone? Through your primary?
Yeah, I get through my primary. And actually, like, I'm kind of stressing about that because, um, the doctor that I had, he was phenomenal. Um, and he just left, and now I have this new doctor, and like, I already have like a really hard time with like health professionals, um, just because of like what I grew up with and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been like avoiding this doctor like the plague, and
Mm.
I'm like worried that's gonna like interfere with me getting testosterone, but
Mm. I hope
stocked up
not.
right now, so
Yeah. That's what you gotta do, dude. I have like
right.
fucking 10 tea bottles sitting on the shelf in
Exactly.
case of the fucking apocalypse.
Exactly.
I feel you though. My when I went to my endocrinologist, the like head doctor, like whatever her
Mm.
name is, like I met her once the day I went in to ask if I could start testosterone or like start the process. She asked me like 3 questions. I mean, she did one like thyroid test on me, and that was the only time I ever met her. And the rest of the times where I went to go, get my checkups and shit, it was like the nurse practitioner or whatever.
Mm.
And like she was my absolute favorite. She made me feel like so safe and like
Oh,
always was respectful and shit. And then she
shout out to
quit.
her. Yep. Yeah.
And then she quit.
That is
And
like
I was like, yeah,
no.
you deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that is like straight up heartbreaking. I get it.
Mhm. That's when I switched to folks because I was like, fuck that.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
don't do that. But congratulations on November 2nd.
Thanks.
I'm very excited for you. Are you, because a lot of people on the internet are always like, make sure you're prepared. Get this, get this, get this. Do you feel prepared?
I I just bought those like armchair like pillow things where like
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I just got that. So like
Mm-hmm.
prepared.
All I need.
That's it.
I got one of those for mine too.
Okay, so like that was a smart purchase, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like okay, so like let me ask you, like, what did you need? Like if you
Honestly, a lot of trans guys on the internet are like, you're gonna need this and you're gonna need this. You're gonna need one of those fucking
it's
things where you can
aggressive.
grab things. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I'd say the first day or the second day is like the worst day where you need help. But
Yeah.
other than that, it's really not horrible.
Okay.
Button up shirts, the only thing.
Oh,
Button up shirts.
okay.
Get some of those if you
Yeah.
don't already
Yeah.
have.
like, like I have like shirts that I wear for like work, but like I don't know if I want to like
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
my little that like I feel like I should get some like more like flimsy material girl
Yeah.
fun
Material girl.
like flimsy ones.
Yeah, definitely get some button up shirts. Do you have somebody around that can help you?
I
Or do you live
do,
by yourself?
yeah. So my nurse friend again, she's she's really coming in to deal with like the drains and shit because I'm stressed about that. Like
Mm.
I've been trying to get myself to watch like TikToks of like trans guys like dealing with the drains, and I'm like, like no, thank you. So I need to get over that.
I think that was my thing too. That's why I didn't get double incision because I was scared of the drains.
I
But I
heard
wish I did, to
completely.
be honest. Yeah,
You wish you got double incision?
kind of. Yeah,
Okay.
keyhole is eh.
Mm-hmm.
Only certain people can get keyhole, and I fit the criteria. I did.
Yeah.
I just didn't keep up with the aftermath of like working
Yeah.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, no, I get that wholeheartedly. It was actually really funny when I went in for like the medical part of like the consultation. Nope, not medical. The physical part of the consultation. He was like it was a lot. So he looked directly at me and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, you're double incision." I was like
oh god.
I was like, "I don't know how to take that." I was like, "This okay, thanks. Yeah, got it. Great." It was so weird, man. I was like,
Oh fuck that! What the hell?
right? I was like, "Oh man, yeah, you're double incision." I was like, "Thanks." I'm like, "Oh,
fuck,
yeah,
dude. Could have said
yeah."
that a little nicer.
Right, yeah. So like when I say he's like very like straight to the point, like psh, ooh,
Mhm.
yeah. Like
Does he specialize in top surgery? Is that all he does?
so I didn't know that, but I guess he does. I think that's like newer for him because that's how he introduced himself when he walked in. But like when I was talking to like the people that recommended me him, he was just like a plastic surgeon, if that makes sense. But he's done like he has like an extensive history of doing like top surgery. And he showed me some like of his other work. So I'm really happy to have him. But
Cool.
yeah, that was
Most of the time, when they do only specialize in top surgery, they tend to not really have bedside manner. It's hi, this is what we're doing.
yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
But yeah, definitely, I want to know how it goes. So I'll be hitting you
Thanks.
up on November 2nd or November 3rd. I'll let you rest for a day.
Okay. You know me. I'm chronically online. I'm sure I'll be like drugged out. Guys.
I'm excited for you to be drugged out a little bit.
Yeah.
I bawled my eyes out when I was coming
Dude,
home.
I can't get these are my favorite pants out of my head. It's just like that has like altered my brain chemistry. I swear to God, it cracks me up every time.
I literally, they woke me up from surgery. I'm still on the table, and they're like, "Cody, we're just gonna put your pants on you." I'm like, "Those are my favorite pants. I wore them just for this occasion."
That is amazing. I've been trying to figure out what to wear, and I'm like, I'll just wear my favorite pants. Like, I just gotta wear my favorite pants, and it'll be okay.
Honestly, that's all you have to do. They were my good luck pants.
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're making me laugh so hard. I'm fucking wheezing over here. If anybody hears me wheezing, blame me. God damn. Sip of coffee here real quick. Nothing like Dunkin' Donuts coffee, bro.
Girl, I'm drinking Dunkin' Donuts.
Are you?
Yes.
Slay. All right. Find my composure.
Yes.
I'm acting like this part will be cut out. I'm not cutting it.
I totally was thinking that. I was like, okay, we're going back.
Just, I think it's funny. I don't cut anything out for the most part. Like that's why my
awesome.
episodes are always like fucking like 2 hours long. Because I hate that. Like I hate missing like important info, and especially if somebody's like telling me their story. Like I'm like I can't cut that. Like
Right.
I can cut their story out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like
Yeah.
I want my episodes to be shorter, but I also don't at the same time. So I'm just raw dogging it.
Yeah, I
Raw dogging it.
mean, from a viewer like myself, I really enjoy the like raw footage that you add. I think it just,
Appreciate you.
yeah, it just like it for me anyway. It makes like it allows me to like connect with like the podcasters a little bit better. That's not the word, but
Podcasters.
I know.
I think you mean guests.
Yeah, but you're not a guest, so like.
True.
You're the
I'm a host or
podcaster.
whatever.
You are the main character, bestie.
This episode's gonna be like 3 hours long.
I know. I'm sorry. My answers are so long.
Please. No, please. I love it. That's what I'm here for.
Cool.
But thank you. I appreciate you for that. All right. When did you come out as trans?
Yeah, this
How long ago?
so this is really interesting because I didn't come out until I was 21.
How old are you now?
I'm gonna be 23 on Monday.
Oh my god, happy birthday.
Thanks. And like, you know what's cute? My pre-op is gonna be on my birthday. I was like,
Aw.
look at the universe.
That's awesome.
Look at that girl go. So yeah, so I didn't come out until I was 21, and it was to my therapist. I, I love my therapist. And, but yeah.
Wow, 21 to your therapist. And
Mhm.
how did it where did it go from there?
So it was actually really funny because I I was in the intake, you know, like how they do that or whatever. And like at the end, she paused, and I was like, "Oh God, is she gonna like? Is this my time to go to a mental institution? Like, is this
Oh, no.
happening?" Like that's genuinely what I thought. I was like, "Okay, like, right." And she was like, "You know, you refer to yourself as dude, man, boy." A lot. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, oh, so you do. And like we just kind of stared at each other, and in my head I was like, oh my God, like she's really calling me out here, like I need to go. And she was like, are you transgender?
Oh my
Like she like
god.
whispered it and like leaned in. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, isn't that why I'm here, to like help figure that out? And she was like, well, if you're questioning it and you refer to yourself and you think it and it feels right, I was like, okay, fine. I'm transgender. No, but like, um, and then from there, it kind of like I started really like realizing,
So, your therapist made you realize you were trans. I love
yeah,
that.
essentially,
It's pretty cool.
yeah.
And then once you realized that, did you come out to family and friends after?
So I came out to my nurse friend. She's probably gonna hate me for continuously referring to her as just my nurse friend.
My
Um,
friend.
my nurse friend. Um, I came out to her second, I guess. And it was more of like, bro, what the fuck do I do? Like, so like, I'm trans. What do I do? And she was like, yeah, that makes sense. What do you do? And we got like, we were just like sitting in the car. She was driving, and I was like, all right, at least I'm not alone in this. Like,
Yeah.
uh, um, and then it took me a while, actually, at least a few months to kind of, well, that's at least a while to me,
Mhm.
because like I wanted to come out, at least to like, because I have a fiance, and I obviously wanted to come out to him, but I was like, am I about to lose like my
Mhm.
person, you know, because
Right.
like that's it's hard. It is
Mhm.
hard going through a transition when you're in such a committed relationship, because I like, for me personally, I wasn't expecting him to stay with me. I accepted it. I was like,
Mhm.
while like my personality has like stayed the same pretty much,
Mhm.
I look hell of a lot different. And I do think like looks matter to a certain extent, or gender, I don't know. Like
Right.
I think it just matters, and to
Right.
some degree. So I
Mhm.
was like, okay, like I'm gonna lose this person. Um, but I finally came out to him, and it went well, obviously. But even he like at first was like, oh, like what do we do? And I was like, bruh, your guess is as good as mine.
Oh, that's bad funny. That's pretty cool though. That
Mm,
that it all
yeah,
worked out in the end, and you
yeah,
guys are
it did.
still engaged and
Yep.
whatnot.
Oh yeah, we're, yeah. Honestly, like I think me being transgender was that like roadblock that we couldn't get over, and just neither of us realized it, because
Mm.
since then, like I feel like we have gotten extremely closer.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You're more comfortable in your own body now,
right,
and
yeah,
you can't be happy unless you are. So,
exactly,
can't
yeah.
love anybody until you start loving yourself.
Yes. Yeah, and then, oh, I think your question was about my family. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so that's I guess the tricky part. My my two sisters are really supportive, and my closest sister, so I have two older sisters, and the one closest to
Mhm.
me, she's my ride or die. Like, so like when I came out to her, she was just like, "Oh, that's why you didn't want to play like teapot with me." Like, yeah, like, cause like growing up, she's super femme, and I'm kind of well, my personality I feel like is a little femme, but as far as looks go, but like she wanted to like do the like play with dolls and like do like dress up and all that like stereotypical stuff, and I really loved like Matchbox cars, for instance, or like Hot Wheels, and like I just wanted to vroom vroom, and she did not want to do that. So like it made sense for her, and then like since then it was like, okay, whatever. My older sister, she was like, okay, yeah, like that makes sense. What can I do to help? So I thought that was sweet.
Yeah.
My mom, we have an interesting past because we we don't really see eye to eye on like anything. And she voted for Trump, and like that's just such a okay. Like you just put that last brick in the wall, my friend. Like, and I don't want to be like that, but all like everything else that's happened in the past, I just like I gotta draw a line somewhere.
Yeah. I get that 100%.
Yeah. She kind of uses like my correct name and my correct pronouns. So it's definitely still like a learning curve with her and trying to like navigate everything.
Do you guys talk often now or no?
No, not really. I think, to be honest, I think she would like for us to talk more, but for my mental health, I can't.
Yeah, well, if she wants to talk more, she's got to be willing to use the correct pronouns and name all the time.
Right. Like, I feel like that makes sense, but
and maybe not vote for Trump.
Maybe. Like, if I just had to spitball here.
And do you live with family or do you live with your fiance?
Yeah, I live with my fiance. We kind of like live in his parents' house, like refurnished basement. So it's kind of like a midway between like living on our own, still living with parents. So it works out well.
Hey man, I live in an apartment, but an apartment on my mom's property. So
I love that. So like, yeah, exactly.
It's hard out here. It's hard.
Right.
So that's good. You have your sisters, right? You said.
Yeah.
That are fully supportive. I'm sorry to hear that your mom is a Trump supporter. My mom was too for a while. I don't think she I don't think she is anymore. I think she's given up on all things politics because everyone just sucks now.
Which, like, that I agree with. I hear you, girl. Yeah. Like, I get that.
Yeah, I grew up with a pretty Republican family, which I haven't really talked about at all, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know why. My dad's side Republican too. Now that I'm trans, nobody really talks about it anymore, though.
I've noticed that too. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's.
I guess they're scared, as you should be.
Like... Right. Exactly. Like, I've always been the one that's been like a little weird. I've always been the one that like strayed from like the family whatsoever. Like, so I was technically homeless when I was 13. I moved out on my own. Jesus. Oh yeah. God, bro. What'd you say?
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. So I've been on my own since I was 13. It was literally like around this time, right around my birthday. So I don't 100% remember. I could have honestly been 12, but I just rounded up to 13 because I know it was in the month of October. So I've always been kind of like that one that like when they're there, things are ruffled no matter what. You know what I mean? So like when I came out as trans, it was kind of like here's another reason.
There he goes again.
Like literally.
Oh,
But
that's so
I
funny.
love it. Like, yeah.
I relate. I think I was definitely the odd one out in the family, and it definitely wasn't a surprise to anybody. I don't think anybody who really comes out as trans, it's not. I don't think it's a surprise for anyone
Right.
because like nobody goes from like dressing full feminine girly girl to the next day being I'm a man. Like it doesn't work like that. Like
Right. So right, agreed wholeheartedly. I will say though, not to be annoying, I did like hyper fem myself. I like I know because
totally agree, but I did that.
like so like the issue is that like I was wearing dresses and heels, but then I would talk like this and be like, oh man, it was just it did not make sense. It did not make sense. So like I agree, but oh my god.
That's funny.
Mm.
Were you like? Do you think you were like trying really hard to not be trans? I guess
Yes.
trying
Yeah.
to repress
100%.
that,
Yeah.
push that down.
Like literally. And like I think there was like a question on the Discord about like imposter syndrome, and that's like kind of how I felt like, because I had grown up being more on the fem side, and like again like I would always like end up playing with my sister, so like inevitably I was doing like girly things like Barbie. Love that shit. Like Princess and the Pauper specifically, me and my sister, we still throw down to that soundtrack. So like I still have that like feminine part in me, and being so like I kind of just like rolled into that, and I was like there's no way I could be trans
Right.
because I have this, so like I'm just like an imposter. Like you know what I mean?
Right.
Um
No, yeah, for sure. I liked Barbies when I was little, but I would I would take Barbies and I would pull all their clothes off and I would just have naked Barbies and then I would cut their hair. I didn't like play with Barbies like a normal child. I made them strip fucking naked and then I cut their hair off. Like what
not to
the
cut the
fuck?
hair off. So so you just made every Barbie of yours weird Barbie from the movie.
100%. Yeah.
That is awesome. Oh no. Do you know Project Runway?
Mm-mm.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. So basically Project Runway, ran by Heidi Klum, is like this fashion show basically, and I would pretend all my Barbies were like models from this show Project Runway, and I would make little outfits and I'd be like like I was just like in my head this like amazing like gay designer, and like I was changing the world with my fashion. Oh
See,
my god.
that's funny though that you say that when you were little, you were in your head, you were like a gay guy, I guess,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
See,
Yes.
yeah,
I And it's so funny because like I like when I was being hyper femme when I was older, like in like my late teens, I had completely forgotten about all of that. Like I
mm,
don't know, well, I mean, I went through a little bit of a traumatizing like childhood and like early teen life. So I think that
mhm,
definitely plays a part in why I forgot so much about my childhood, and how like how much I actually was like screaming I'm a little boy without actually screaming I'm a little boy.
mhm,
Um
mhm.
so this past recent like even like year or so I've been like remembering stuff. But yeah, I've always referred to myself as man, dude, boy without
That's
even
crazy.
realizing it.
And you were talking about the imposter thing, which we'll do. We're gonna do it at the end, but since it fits in with this conversation, I'll read it in a second. But um, since you were playing with Barbies and all like feminine toys and did
Yeah.
feminine things when you were little, you said that made you feel like you weren't trans. But I think we all forget that there are feminine men out there who enjoy like feminine things, and
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
completely valid, you know what I mean? But you don't realize that when you're little, or
Right,
like
right.
before you even come out as trans, when you don't understand gender and don't, you're just kind of ignorant to it. I was ignorant
Mm-hmm.
to it for a long time. Like I didn't think boys could play with girl toys, you know what I mean? But now it's like such a normal thing that
Yes,
like,
yeah.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But speaking about the imposter syndrome thing, Daniel from the Discord. See, this is why you should join the Discord, because if you join it, you can ask us questions and I will answer them in the episodes. So you're missing out. Anyways,
And you're transphobic.
period. Daniel from the Discord said, "Cody and Nate, there is something that I don't hear very often, but I know some can relate, is imposter syndrome. If you guys could talk about it, I think it would be great, as it is something that I'm trying to overcome. And it can be a lot of things. I think everyone has a different experience with it, but basically it's that feeling that not being good enough. For example, I couldn't wait to start passing, and then suddenly when people started to call me man or sir, I really enjoyed it. But a part of me couldn't believe that couldn't believe it. Then I get all those doubts in my head. I don't know. It's getting better now. Well, I'm glad it's getting better now, but I
Woo!
completely, yeah, period. I completely relate. There was a time. Oh my God, I've never told this story. I think about this story. Like stories from like your childhood or like not that long ago, I guess, that like you think about them and you're like, oh, that's,
It-
oh,
yes. So
makes you want to crawl in a hole and die.
I call it turtling because you literally
Period. Period. So I have
Yes.
one. So my sister and I threw a party at my house one time when my mom was away. Typical, I
Ooh,
get it.
scandalous.
Rebellious. But she had a bunch of friends over. I had a bunch of friends over. She had more friends than me, though. So I had like 10 friends. She had like 30
Me.
friends over. And she had a friend there that I had never met before. I was freshly trans, but I was out to my sister. I was out to my friends. I was out to everybody. You know, I was my sister's brother. And I introduced myself to this kid, and I go, yeah, I'm Lindsay's sister, and he was like, what? And I was like, I'm brother. I meant brother. He was like, okay,
All right.
nice to meet you. I was like, I'm gonna go, but great talking to you. Yeah, I went inside. I had a good cry, and I came back out and acted like it didn't happen.
Yep, and that's what you got to do. You just got to keep moving on.
Yep. So
Uh-huh.
I definitely understand. Like it, I think for a while, because even in like, I don't know if this relates. I think it relates. I even struggled remembering my own pronouns and name for a little while. Like in my head, I would still refer to myself as my old name, and I'd be like, hey, "That's wrong. Don't do
Oh
that."
my god. Dude, I'm so glad you said that because I like literally just now I've noticed like a complete finished change from like doing that to not doing that. There
Hmm.
was such a long time where I was still like in my head being like, ugh, dead name. And then I'd be like, why are you beating yourself up? Like, stop that. And then like and
100%.
yeah, literally like my fiance asked me literally like last week or whatever if I still like mess up my own pronouns. And like while I don't do it as much anymore, during the beginning it was all over the place. I couldn't get my pronouns right. And like that's why like I was like that's why I didn't like really like expect anybody like around me to get it right off the bat. But
Hmm.
then once I was good at it and a couple of other people were good at it, I was like, okay, like
Hmm.
now you're being a little jerk butt. So so like get your shit together. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. I remember one of the times where probably that time where I literally misgendered myself to a stranger.
Yeah,
Um,
that's yeah, I can't relate on that one, but I empathize.
I remember like sitting down with myself and being like, what does that mean? Like, does that mean I'm not trans? Like, am I doing this for no reason? Like,
Oh,
it fucked with my head
oh, I can
so
see
bad.
that. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I definitely had to like sit down for a second and be like, okay, if I can't even get my own pronouns right, what does that mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
But Daniel says that like he, he couldn't wait to start passing, and then suddenly people started calling him sir, and for referring to him as a man, he couldn't believe it, and he had doubts in his head. I think again that's something that a lot of trans people go through, and I think that's learning how to navigate gender dysphoria, I would say. Is like, I feel like maybe you're new to gender dysphoria. I mean, not new, but like you maybe are just now realizing that that might be gender dysphoria, and it takes time to learn how to process that and deal with that, to be honest. Which brings me kind of to my next question for you, is that, do you have gender dysphoria?
Yeah.
Like, episode over. That's it.
All right, wrap things up. Yeah. Like I so growing up, I thought I had what is it called? Body dysmorphia, I think, which I think kind of does fall under like gender dysphoria, depending on what it is for you. I just didn't realize what that meant for me, if that makes any sense. So I think I've always had gender dysphoria. I just didn't know what it was. So I like always try to find like other things that it could be with, if that makes sense. Like I hated my face, so I just needed makeup, and my makeup will make it better. I hate my body, so I just need to work out, or I just need to wear different clothing. But I was still going the wrong way about it. So I think one way I cope is, this sounds so cheesy, but like just like finding things that feel right. Like it sucks and I have a mental breakdown like every other day with like outfits and whatnot. But once I do find the outfit that like hits the spot for me, it hits the spot. And then like that's like, okay, this is me healing. Like this is me getting over my dysphoria. I just gotta go through it.
Gender euphoria is a lot more powerful than gender dysphoria.
Yes, and that right there is what gets me through it. That's the only thing I can find that copes.
Do you think that when you get your top surgery, a good amount of your gender dysphoria will be at ease?
At least I'm hoping so anyway. But I do genuinely think, just because like I can't find clothes that fit me right because of my chest, so I like think that'll like definitely help that. I'm more worried at that point of the dysphoria I get about like my personality, and
yeah, that one hurts.
Yeah, you feel me. Like, and I think that's gonna really heighten. So I'm a little scared of that, but
yeah, I get you. I feel like you and I can probably relate more than my other guests, like together. I mean, because like we both, I feel like, have a little personality.
But then we can switch and go from like, yeah, what up?
Exactly.
I literally, so nurse friend back. When I was telling her about this podcast, I was like, yeah, this kid, he's so awesome. He can go from girly pop to man in a second, like me.
Oh my God, you get it. You get it. You get it. It's like a switch, bro.
It really is.
And
like and like that gives me so much euphoria and dysphoria at the same time. It's weird.
Yeah. See, I said it a long time ago, I think, on like episode probably like 3 or 4, but like I grew up listening to, One Direction and Justin Bieber and like
Louis Tomlinson forever.
Oh my God, Nate, I love you.
I had to. I'm sorry, but just.
Oh, my fucking
Did you see him on tour?
We
don't have time for this conversation. I'm sorry.
I did. It was the best fucking experience of my life.
Where did you go?
In New York. He played a show in New York. Did he play in Rhode Island or no?
Connecticut. I went to his Connecticut one. So like when he comes back, we're gonna meet up and go to a concert.
100%. 100%. Oh, that's amazing. But see, like things like that, like going to the Louis Tomlinson concert, I was the only man there.
Literally,
you know what I mean? And like I remember when I came out of Strands, like, and like a lot of my friendships are based on things that, you know, I grew up with, like One Direction and Harry Styles and like the girly pop things. And like there was a moment where I felt like I had to let go of all that in order to be a man. I had to let go of all of those things that I enjoyed so much until I was like, okay, wait, that's stupid. But like for a long, long, long time, I didn't talk about it in front of cis men. I never lied about it. Someone asked me if I liked One Direction. I would never lie.
Oh, right, but you are not bringing it up. You are bringing up fantasy football. Like, that is the stuff you are talking about.
But like, as if I could. What the fuck is fantasy football? I don't know.
Fair. That is fair.
See, like, I don't know. That was, I was just saying that I think you get it because like I don't know. I've met a lot of trans guys who turn the girly pop mode off completely and like only
or never
around
had
me.
It. Yeah.
Or never have it. Yeah. But like, or only around me, or like girls will show up, but around like cis men, they won't, or like people they don't know very well, they won't. And I don't know, it took me a long time to be able to be in front of other people and still show that side because I thought that that would be a tell. That would be like, oh yeah, no, he's different. He's not a real man.
No, I mean, I think I'm still struggling with that. I still like instantly turn it off, and like I'm aware of myself turning it off, and I'm like, dude, this is stupid, but I don't stop it either. So I'm like, okay, so like we're acknowledging it, but like we're ignoring it. Cool.
But like, it's like, what else are you supposed to do? Because you can't change yourself. If you were to repress that part of yourself and make yourself more masculine when you didn't want to be, like, and that is masculinity. Like, being that way and being who you are is more masculine than I've ever fucking seen in any fucking cis man. Like,
Cody, you just give me chills. Exactly.
Literal chills. I'm like wheezing like a motherfucker. I'm like, all right. Moving on. We're an hour in and we still haven't gotten to like our first topic.
Oof.
Please don't apologize. I love this. This is my favorite. Okay, now this is the topic of the day because now remind me, you are in school to become a teacher?
Yeah.
And okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No. Yeah, so I am currently in school for secondary education social studies. And then I have a concentration in anthropology with a minor in history.
Slaking.
Thanks.
I didn't go to college, so I know nothing. But I know that a lot of people in the Discord too have wanted me to talk about what it's like to be a trans student or a trans teacher. And I've been waiting for someone like you to come around to talk about it because I can't talk about it because I have no experience with it. So I do have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask you about like what it's like and how you cope with certain things. So you are in school right now, right?
Yeah.
What's that like as a trans person?
Yeah. So my school is liberal. So I like generally it is a safe space for me. So I'm very like privileged, very lucky on that front. It was weird going through the transition of school, but it was still a lot easier for me because I am a COVID tranny baby that came out during the pandemic. So like I was able to transition while on Zoom. So I literally, like, when I was transitioning and I was like trying everybody to like use my name and whatnot, if my teacher forced me to put my camera on, I would have my hood up, a hat on. And when I tell you, so I voice trained so much. So I was like practicing and like, yeah. So,
That's awesome.
so during the like hardest part of my transition, I would say, was okay. Cause I was like over Zoom. It got a little messy when I had to fix like my whole name. My school takes forever to do like anything like administrative related, which I feel like is pretty common with like any,
Right.
you know, government building, whatever. But I had to fill out the forms and I still had to like email professors saying like, this is my name, these are my pronouns, please do not follow what's on your roster. Some of them still did, and I was like, oh, this is horrendous. I was so my dead name is like a gender neutral name, and this is kind of like a hot topic between like me and my mom. Like, why didn't you keep your name? So like I could have answered and just like went along with it. Like that was gonna be a long semester, so I had to out myself, and like that was uncomfortable. But it ended up being okay.
I remember that. I remember because I came out in high school, and I remember the fucking they're not whiteboards, smart boards.
Yeah.
That they had. Yeah, my fucking old picture would always
No.
come up
No.
next to my
No.
old name every time, and I asked every teacher, could you just like maybe because my last name is White, so like.
Yeah.
They just didn't have to scroll down. If they scrolled down, I would show up. I was like, maybe like when you're taking attendance for my class, like, could you just like not scroll down to the W's? Like,
I would even argue to just not post or like show all of the students' pictures up in front of the rest of their classmates.
I tried. I went to the fucking guidance counselor and I was like, is there any way like I could just get it changed on the roster, like on like the
Take your
attendance
picture
sheet that
down.
comes up? Yeah, like can I just have that changed? Like, and he was like, well, at the time, I wasn't out to my mom yet. I was only out in school, and they were like, without parents' consent, no. If your name's not changed legally, no. And I was like, are you like? He was like, we could still call you by Cody, but like on paper, like you're not Cody. And I was like, that's transphobic. Why the fuck do you need my mom's consent
100%.
to just change my first name? Like, are you kidding me?
100% transphobic. Like, jokes aside, like, yes. Like, systematic transphobia, yes.
Yeah, no, that's rough. Did it take it? You said it took your school a long time to get your name changed on paper. That sucks.
Yeah. But yeah.
Did you experience like any transphobia at all from anyone, teachers, other students?
Honestly, no, and I think that's because of the field that I'm in. So I take a lot of like anthropology classes, social studies, education is like, at least in my school, is like really like social justice heavy. So like they want to use me, they want to support me. So like I've noticed that I've become kind of like a token, and I remember distinctly last semester, I think, yeah, it was last semester, I was in a queer and trans anthropology class.
Slay.
Yeah, it was really great, but I was expecting like everybody to be like me, and I only had like 2 other like little queer bees, and I was like,
really?
Yeah, and like I was kind of sad. I was like, dang, like thought I was gonna find my people, but I guess like I needed like I kind of reframed it as okay, like more like cis straight people are noticing that there needs to be more conversation about these topics. So it was good.
That's cool. Then like there how many kids were in the class, if you remember?
It was a little over 20. It was a full class. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's nice to know that cis people want to learn.
Right.
I
Yeah,
love
exactly. Exactly. Not to like here we go again. But when any like transgender topic came up, every student like where is he? Like instantly looked for me, and like I was always like, and I love the professor, but even he kind of like egged it on a little bit and was like, "So Nathan, what's your what how do you feel about this?" And I was like, "All right, like
Let me set the record straight here.
exactly." And I pretty much always did like be like, "That's not right exactly. Let me just fix that for you." So
As you should. That's very
yeah.
main character of you. I
Yeah,
love it.
I did give off main character energy, and it was also like, and that was like when like my voice was like really cracking too. So I would be like saying these full on sentences, and I would just be have to keep going. It was so bad.
Yeah, I remember in my it was a senior year. So it was senior year, so I was 17, freshly trans, and in my like fucking gov class or whatever, we were doing like current events,
Oh, here we go.
and it was the high of the transgender bathroom law in North Carolina, and obviously I knew about it, but my teacher was like, "Does anybody know what law was just passed in North
Uh,
Carolina?" And I looked around and I was like, "Uh oh," and nobody raised their hand. And he asked again. He was like, "Oh, does anybody know?" And I was like, "Well, fuck."
Here we
Okay.
go.
And I said it. Every head turned right to me.
Oh my, yes, I can see it. I can picture it. I can feel you. Yes, I get it.
And like I had sent him an email. That teacher, I had sent him an email about using my name and pronouns, but it went to his spam, so he never saw it until after that class.
Oh my
He like
god.
pulled me aside and was like, "Makes sense why you knew that answer now."
No, no.
It was like my
Yo.
way of coming out to like my entire class.
Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Hmm. That's crazy.
That's really cool though, that because like I even have a question here for you that says in your your gender studies class, did it consist of mostly trans people? I would assume that it would, but you're saying there's only a couple. What is
It,
that tattoo of
which one?
right here?
My pineapple?
Oh my god, I love that. Sorry,
Yeah, my
I
pineapple with my
love
sunglasses.
that. Sorry.
I got a duck smoking. Yeah. Yeah,
Dude,
I
that's
got
so
some
sick.
I got some silly goofy little tattoos.
Sorry, I had to
No,
know.
thanks for asking.
Continue.
Yeah, I really thought that it was just gonna be like all the queers flock to these classes. And even in like my queer history class right now, obviously I can't assume, so they're like their gender identity might not be like what exactly they're presenting,
Mhm.
that whole spiel. Um, but I just like at least for this class specifically, a lot of people have like said their like sexual orientation and or their gender expression and just gender in general, and
Mhm.
it's cis straight, and I'm
Well,
like this is interesting to me. But I'm now wondering, I'm like, maybe the population is smaller than I think it is, so there's really not, you
mm,
know what I mean? Like, maybe if the
right.
population was bigger, then it would be what I expect, but because it's not, then
Do you think some of them are taking it because they're required, like for a credit or something?
yeah, yeah. There's this one kid in my class who like outrightly said it, and I was like, and you chose queer history. Are you? Come talk to me after class.
Yeah, dead ass. Like you could have chose a lot of things. There's a reason
Oh,
why you chose this one.
right.
That's bad funny. Um, has anybody like asked any out of pocket questions in that class or anything?
Ooh, this is a good question. Um, Not that I can really remember. And I think it's because they're afraid, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
which like I get. Like I
Mhm,
like the whole like cancellation culture thing, like it I get the fear.
mhm,
While I personally wish that wasn't at least in the classroom setting, because I think that's the best space to learn and ask those out of pocket
true.
questions so you can learn why they're
Mhm,
out of pocket and the answer or whatever.
mhm.
But yeah, I I'm also just kind of a talker, if you haven't picked up on that. So like I also just talk a lot in those classes, so maybe I'm not giving them space to. I do want to acknowledge that.
Doubt it.
I mean, that's what I'm telling myself, but I'm like, all right, but also step off your high horse, Nathan. So I don't know.
Now, how does your teacher handle it? Like, do they go about the subjects in a way you think is correct and accurate to the
Yeah.
trans community?
Um yeah, like I actually in my one of my education courses right now, she got me. She like, and I was shook when that happened. So she was teaching about like assuming gender and pronouns is like obviously a big no-no, especially when you're teaching middle schoolers, because middle schoolers are really trying to figure themselves out. So she put up this picture, and it was like this person running, and like nobody, and she was like, what do we get from this picture? And nobody answered. So I was like, it's a guy chasing after his bus. And oh, I know she loved it, because she smiled and she looked right at me and she was like, how do you know that he's a boy? I was like, and like the girl next to me, like, she physically laughed, and I was like, ooh, the transgender just got schooled. So
Wow, that's so funny.
yeah, I went mute for the rest of that class. I was sitting there questioning everything. I was like, damn.
Were you the only trans kid in that class?
Yeah.
Did everyone know you were trans?
I don't think they know.
Did your
I
teacher know?
Yeah, my teacher does know. I did kind of like out myself to her, but like it was my choice, because she was like, what do you, so she like has us fill this like Google form out after every class, like as like a closure, and at the end she's like, what do you want me to know? And so at the end of class, first day of class, she did like icebreakers, and I was like, hey, like, I'm like really comfortable with this, like I'm transgender, and I want you to know that like it would make me feel really comfortable if you encourage people to talk about pronouns, and you know, if they're comfortable saying their pronouns, to say them. So I think that's why, like, that literally it was like the next class, she ate she ate that class, and I I gotta give her props for it.
Oh, that's awesome. Now, I guess I feel like when I came out in school, it was being around people my age was completely more terrifying than being around older people for some reason. And that's even like outside of being trans. Like I could talk to a 40-year-old all day. But
Mm-hmm.
like bring someone who's 24, 23, 25, whatever around me, and I stumble over my words. I don't know how to talk to them. Do you think being or transitioning around people our age, because people our age are suck, like they're mean, like, and transphobia in the younger generation is completely different than transphobia. They're both ignorant and stupid, but like
Right.
completely different from how older transphobes go about things. But do you think it was something that was made it harder on your transition being around kids your age?
Yeah, especially like the like cis males made me like, eh, not their fault, but man, did I feel gender dysphoric around them. And my field that I'm going into is actually like a lot more, the social studies history part is a lot more like male dominated. So like here's like my gay ass like walking into literally like men everywhere, teacher, male. And I was like, oh, I don't belong here. I need to skedaddle. So it definitely was hard. And like even like now, like I still like get like really uncomfortable around like people my age, unless they are in my community and they are girly pop. If they aren't those things, I need to head out, because like I don't know how to talk to you. I don't want you to judge me. I don't want you to be mean to me because I will cry. So
it's like I take more offense when people our age are transphobic. Because when I get like a hate comment that's from like clearly like a 60-year-old person or like 50-year-old, it's like, all right, whatever. But like when it's coming from somebody who's my age, for some reason it bothers me more. I feel like it's like we should be better. Like maybe it's
we
that
can
sense a
be
little
better.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed wholeheartedly.
It makes me scared for the future because like I have full faith. Okay, maybe not full faith, but I have some faith that our generation is going to be better. They're going to be more accepting of trans people when we're the parents. But then I see people like that, and I'm like, oh my god, you're going to teach your kids the same thing, and then your kids are going to bully my kids. It's never ending.
Yep. No, I agree wholeheartedly. Yeah, I don't think there's much else to say on that. I mean,
Yeah,
you said it
it
perfectly.
sucks. It sucks.
Quite, but yeah, exactly. And like, I don't know, like that's what I was gonna say. We have like the resources, we have the stories, we have everything to know that what you're doing is not okay. So why are you doing it? And
like my mom's generation, not that it's excusable, but like, and not that it's true, but she would say, or her people of her generation would say, oh, like we didn't know any trans people when we were younger. It's not something
you did.
yeah, like no, like 100%. But like people of our generation cannot say that when they are 60, when they're 50, like they can't. And I guess that makes me wonder what their excuse will
What
be,
then?
I guess.
Yeah.
What then?
Yeah,
Because you've been around it all your life, you know about it.
And
like
yeah, and my experience is they straight up are like, I just find it weird. I just think it's like, I just think it's gross, or
it's just
I don't
straight
get
up
it.
ignorance. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And it's like, look, you don't have to get it. Like, I feel bad for you for not getting it because this is beautiful, but why do you have to go that extra step to make me feel bad? Like, essentially, like murder like us. I don't. That's my issue, and that's what I don't understand.
Fucked up.
Yeah,
But
period.
I guess now, correct me if I'm wrong. You said you were your goal is to work in education, right?
Yes, yeah.
And
Middle
do you
school
have
specifically.
experience yet?
Yeah, I got a little bit. So I was a substitute teacher for a hot minute. And I don't know why I thought it was a good idea to do it in like the peak of my not the peak, like at the very beginning of my transition. So I was using he him pronouns and my preferred name, or my real name, but I still looked very femme. And I remember this one story. I was substitute. So I was like a substitute and a teacher aide, and so I already had like some experience in this one classroom with this older lady teaching. And it was like second graders, I think. So it was elementary, and when she introduced me, she used like miss and she her pronouns, and I was like, exactly, but I was like, I need to be the professional one here apparently, so I'm just gonna like, it is not the time or place to hash that out. Because the kids were using Mr. and he him, so I was like, so you literally look like an idiot, but that's a whole nother story. You okay anyway. So, and then later on I was subbing for that class, and kids, like, no question, he him, Mr. whatever. The next time I saw her, she berailed me. She was like, you confused my students, you made them call you he him, why would you do that to my kids, blah 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 blah, these kids are just trying to learn.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it was wild. It was wild.
What did you do?
I hate how I responded. If we're being completely honest,
I get it.
I was just like,
I get it.
okay, I'm so sorry. Can I go now? Like, I literally, like, I felt like I was in like my principal's office or whatever again, and I just need to get out of there. Like, I
get it.
that flight response was boop, boop, boop. So,
And how long ago was that?
oh, over a year now. Yeah.
Do you think you would have responded differently today?
Oh yeah. I definitely feel way more confident, and I wish I would have been like I wish I had thrown the facts at her. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
where, like, or ask her, where do you see the confusion? Because they still did their spelling tests, and I found out that they still did great. So clearly, like, me teaching them and having them practice their spelling wasn't affected.
Mm-hmm.
They're using like my correct name and pronouns. You
They
are
weren't
the only
confused.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, they were not confused. They said and did what they thought was right. They didn't question it at all because they're kids. Like,
Right, exactly. So right,
it
exactly.
hurts.
So like I kind of wish I'd been like, say you're confused. Say it.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me you're confused, and I will happily have that conversation with you. I am more than happy to sit and talk with a transphobe and explain and educate them. I love that. That is my bread and butter. So, but now, back then, no.
Yeah, I get
So
that. Takes a lot of everything.
right.
It takes everything.
It takes everything.
And it's not something every trans person has right out of the fucking
Right, or
womb.
should have to,
Like,
or
yeah,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
nobody, not being trans doesn't mean you have to, stand up to every transphobe out there too. Like,
Right.
I said that in my last episode a little bit, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't blame you. It's fucking scary. And like, if you're somebody who isn't used to confrontation, doesn't like confrontation, like, being in a school setting too, like I think about like all the people who were transphobic towards me during high school and like how I thought that like I had to fucking bow down to teachers. Now I'm like, God, I would give anything to go back and like actually say the shit that I should have, but I was too
Mm-hmm.
scared to. So I
Right.
get it.
Mm-hmm.
Um Now that's interesting that the kids, but it makes sense that the kids didn't even question it, but the older person did, and that's
Right.
pretty much how it goes. But do you think that the biggest struggle for being a trans teacher is the students or the other teachers?
Other teachers and parents.
Parents.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about that one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That is, yeah.
It's it's I haven't really dealt with this yet. Maybe you have. Have you had to, explain to a kid, what being trans is or what your pronouns are if they were confused?
Oh yeah. And it's fun. I see it as a really like learning experience, and I am all about education, obviously. And one thing that like I noticed that really makes a difference to me is if you, and this is with anything, not even talking about transgender, if you go to the student and you're like, okay, so like it really tense and like it's starting over your words and frantic, they pick up on that. Whatever
Mm-hmm.
emotion you're feeling, they know it. They sniff it out like a little like dog. So if you approach the conversation as open and relaxed and just ready to talk to them about it, they'll meet you halfway. It's when parents and adults can't do that, and I'm still trying to learn and figure out why they can't do that. But I think it's because kids are just so curious and they want to learn, and they're just so much more open than adults are,
Mm-hmm.
because adults, they close their minds. And I like that
Right.
is like my biggest thing. Like, always keep an open mind, always be
Mm-hmm.
curious,
Mm-hmm.
like, and you will get so far.
And I think also like kids, we don't come out of the womb hating people. Like, there's no hate in our hearts when we come out of the womb. We don't understand anything.
Right.
Like, we learn it along the way. Somebody teaches us how to hate people and other things. Like,
Yes.
so a kid doesn't know that being trans could even be confusing in the first place. Like, if
Right.
they're told something directly, like, that's how it is, and that's how it should be with everybody. Like,
Exactly. Yeah. So when I got asked, I kind of I threw it back at them. I was like, "What do you think I am? What what do you think?" And like
period.
they like I remember these two boys, they looked at each other and they like I saw their brains explode. It was hilarious. And they were like, "We want you to be a boy." And I was like, "Sweet." And then I gave him a fist bump and we moved on.
Wow.
It did not need to be a big deal because it's not. They still
Mm,
respected me as their teacher. They still learned, like it was fine.
mhm.
And then I had like a little girl and she asked me, "What are you?" And I was like, "What do you want me to be?" And she was like, "Can you be a girl?" And I was like, "Sure." I was like, "If you want me to be." And she was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay." Then we moved on. Like, I
Yeah, I mean,
know not every trans person can do that,
no, yeah.
and I totally understand that. And I think now, if I got asked, I would say I'm a boy.
Mhm.
But like, if they really fought me on it, I'd be like, "Can you just do your multiplication facts?"
If they fought you on it, you know it's their parents. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
It's
and
their parents
that's
and they're here.
exactly. And at that point, I don't need to have this conversation with you. I need to have a conversation with your parents.
Period. Now, have you struggled with the thought of educating a kid on what being trans is without a parent's consent?
Yep, yep, and it terrifies me honestly
Mm,
because like it parents have so much more power in the education system than I think they realize they're aware of. Essentially, they
mm,
can't get me fired. So if I just step a little too close,
mm,
I'm done.
mm.
Um, and like that might be like a very like pessimistic way of looking at it, but I think it's reality.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I think it's wrong. I think 100%, if I was a teacher, I should be allowed to educate your kid on what being trans is, because it's being trans is not a crime. It's not a fucking secret. Like,
Right,
they're
exactly.
going to be surrounded by trans people.
Yep.
Trans people are a part of America and life as a whole. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Like, there's
Hmm.
no reason why they can't learn about something that exists. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right,
Like, isn't
exactly.
that what school is about? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. And I think and I that's kind of the approach that I want to take with it. And I I don't want to hide in the classroom. I want to be open about it. So like I'm not going to work in a school that won't let me be open about it. So I think that does help me with like educating my students on what being trans is. And I just basically want to say like, it's a really broad term, but if I had to boil it down, it would just be someone who doesn't feel the gender that they were assigned to at birth, and leave it at that. And if they ask me for resources on learning more about it, I'm gonna give it to them, and
Yeah.
because I
I mean,
refuse to let them flounder.
when they ask, or like when you're first educating a kid on what being trans is, opinions don't even have to become a thing, like, in it, like, which most things in the education system, like, teachers are not supposed to give their opinion on anything. They're just supposed to teach. So, like,
Exactly.
if you're teaching a kid about what being trans is, you don't have to, gung ho pride, like, just say what it is and move on. And if they go home with questions, you can let their parent deal with the questions. You know what I mean? Like, that's just my
No,
outlook on
and
it.
I think you're 100% right. And while it stresses me out and it like makes my tummy turn thinking about these kids going to the parents, I don't have control over that, so I just need to radically
And,
accept
like,
that.
at that point, you're not giving an opinion, so they can't be mad. You're teaching
Eh,
about something that exists.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Like I hate that I'm thinking about it in that way, but again, it's reality. Because if they
right.
come to me and they're like, you taught my kid like what transgenderism is. I'll be like, so next time you want them to ask me what World War I is, what would you like me to say?
Yeah.
Because I'm just teaching topics here.
Like you should have, if you wanted to like create their opinion for them, you should have got ahead of the problem and told them about it first. If that's
If
what you
that
wanted.
right, if you're so concerned, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you're scared and you're not a good parent, clearly.
Right. So I'm worried about your kid.
Dead ass. Now, I think that typically kids, as you said, they don't really question anything. If you tell them directly what something means, they won't question it. And way different than adults, but kids do say some inappropriate things and have some inappropriate questions sometimes, and they can be brutally honest, but they don't know they're being mean when they're being brutally honest. They're just living their life. But I could see that being triggering for a trans person working in that field.
Yeah.
Especially somebody who's, not on hormones or anything yet. But would you have any advice on how to cope with that?
You gotta suck it up. I hate saying it like that. But you have so much power as a teacher, and you need to use that to that best benefits your kids. And your kids are watching you every little thing that you do. So if they see you get like hurt and floundered and like, which you have every right to feel that way, but you need to teach them that you can be strong in the face of transphobia or homophobia or racism or that whole umbrella. So if you can teach them that, then you are inevitably making them stronger, I believe anyway. And I think that's what we're here to do as these kids. We're here to make them stronger, emotionally, physically, I guess, intelligently. And so like I remember I had these two students. I was in high school. I was subbing for high school, and one kid made kind of like I guess, technically a transphobic comment or towards another student, and the student that was attacked, I could see it in their face that hurt them. Now, if I stood there and I was also hurt, what about that kid? Like, how do you think that kid felt? Like, he just got like attacked. You know what I mean? So I had to like pull up my big boy points, even though I was like, man, that kid could have said that to me. It's just it's not the time or place. It's not about you. And I find comfort in that. But I can see how not everybody would, if that makes any sense.
And I mean, like, teaching them that, I don't know, words hurt, but not being offended yourself, I guess, takes away their ammo in a sense. Like,
exactly.
I don't know. Because like if you're being mean to somebody and you see that it didn't hurt their feelings, it's like, okay, well, that was stupid. I shouldn't have said that because it didn't even work. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's really good advice, to be honest.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea, and I understand that, but I just like my students come first, no matter what, and I think that's the best way we can serve them.
Period. I like that. Now, all of this brings us into our second topic, because if we were taught from a young age what being trans was, what being gay was in school, I bet you we wouldn't be experiencing half the problems we do today. So our second topic is queer history, which I know nothing about. I'm a bad trans boy, and I know nothing about queer history. I know some things, but you seem like you know a hell of a lot more. So teach me a little bit on queer history.
Yeah, thank you. I said thank you. I mean, I do want to preface by saying that like I am not a gender studies major, I am not a queer studies major, and people like do really dive into this stuff. The stuff that I want to mention today is just things that like I've picked up through my own schooling, my own kind of like research. So I kind of want to bring these points up in hopes that like listeners like take it upon themselves to do their own research and um, just learn themselves, because I think the concepts are really changing. But the first thing that I kind of want to talk about that you just mentioned was that you didn't learn anything about it. And I kind of want to challenge you on that and just say that you have, and you just don't know it because that's how the system is created. So, for example, would you say that you know and learn about women's history?
Yeah,
A little bit.
a
Would you
little.
call it women's history?
Probably not.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly my point. So like we've learned about we've learned about women's suffrage, but we don't call it women's history. We call that our history. We call that American history. But so the same thing kind of goes, because queer history is already intertwined in our history and we just don't know it. So it's this concept of othering. And basically what that is, like if we go back to the example of women's suffrage, we othered women by not giving them the right to vote. We can apply that to everything else about our queer history, if we want to use that term. We gay men didn't have like the right to marriage, or just gay people in general didn't have the right to marriage. So again, it's that othering. So point being, we've already started learning about it, and it's just nobody wants to call it queer history because that suddenly becomes problematic. I hope that makes
That's true.
sense.
Yeah, no, it makes sense for sure. So you think that like I learned about queer history in school and whatnot, but the way the education system went about it, I didn't even realize is what you're saying.
Right, exactly. My point is we've learned the way to look at queer history without realizing it by taking the concept of othering. But nobody wants to say it because that suddenly becomes problematic. And if we can learn the concept of othering by looking at how we had to get gay marriage rights.
Okay. Yeah, I get that.
It's okay if you
Now,
don't.
I do. I guess how do you, if you know, how did queer people look in queer history that we didn't notice, I guess?
No, I
Does that
love
make
that
sense?
question. Honestly, that kind of brings me to like my second topic, where basically like people love to say that queer history doesn't exist because they're looking for that very like specific gay image, and that just isn't existent. Like the word gay didn't come until like I think the 1950s. So obviously if you're going back and looking at like journals of people and your gay history examples, nothing's going to come up because the word gay hasn't even been created yet. So you need to look at the concepts that we've learned through American history to find queer history. If that makes any sense. So like I'm trying to think. So the term fairies. Have you heard like fairy before?
When people have called me one.
Yeah, same. Same. So so that was actually like that started in the 1900s in New York. And I'm actually going to do a little plug here if I can. This book, Gay New York by George Chauncey, he has a whole chapter on like fairies and whatnot, and highly recommend. And that's where I get a lot of this information from. But basically, like, don't look for like gay men history, look for fairy history, and you'll find a lot more. And that's queer history. But we don't know these terms because we're not taught them.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're erasing a whole bunch of history because we're not even considering the fact of that there's different terminology out there than what we know from today.
That's a fat point.
Mm.
Damn.
Mm.
Because like even before this, I tried to look up queer history a little bit, but I honestly didn't find much. Like,
right, yeah, exactly, yeah. I don't blame you. I didn't either. And here's my other plug: A Queer History, by Michael Bronsky. Sorry, highly recommend. There's also like a young adult version of it. It's really great. It gives you like it. He kind of like set it up as like these 3 myths that about like queer history that I think are absolutely brilliant, and it's really like sparked the academic conversation about queer history and how to look for it, look at it, about it, etc., etc.
I think that would be super helpful, even because like I don't see the education system changing anytime soon about teaching kids about queer history at all. I mean, I
Right.
think it would have. I mean, I guess the way they go about teaching it, I guess. But I don't know. I think because you look at all these like. Did you ever have those kids in school that like were just those boys that were just weirdly obsessed with social studies and like history class and like
Yeah, what about him?
but like the ones that like were like obsessed with like Call of Duty and like would
Yeah, no,
pretend
I'm
like
just fucking
those
with you.
fuckers.
Yes, I know,
Like
I know exactly who you're talking about, and I avoided them like the
yeah,
plague.
like I bet you if they learned about queer history at a young age, it would have like because they were so obsessed with history, they make it
Right,
their whole goddamn fucking personality.
right,
Like
right, exactly.
it would have helped. Is all I'm saying.
Agreed
Like
wholeheartedly. And I guess going back to my point that American history is queer history because we the concepts that we learn in history can be applied to not just queer people, but like African culture, like anything. It's these concepts that were talked about, and we only do it in an American lens.
mhm.
But
Mm.
do you, I hope I'm explaining it right.
No,
I might not
100%.
be, but
No, you are. I think also it it would also help in the sense that like it would have made people, especially of the older generation, believe and know that being gay is not new, being trans is not new. Like we've been around forever, and like I don't know.
yeah, no, right, exactly, wholeheartedly. I agree wholeheartedly, and like a huge misconception that like drives me up a wall is that queer history started with the Stonewall riot. Yes, Stonewall riot is a huge part. Like that was a huge groundbreaking moment. But I think if we're focusing only on that, we're erasing so much history before then that we can learn a lot from. And I think also with like just focusing on the Stonewall riot, it's ignoring the fact that there are highs and lows and that there was only like absolute low for queer people, and the Stonewall riot is what made things better for people. And that's just not true. Like during the early 1900s, like the 1920s specifically, bestie, gay men, gay culture was flourishing in New York. And I had zero idea of that. Like
I had
right.
no idea.
Yeah, no, like dude, like they were like owning the streets. They had their own like, for example, like red ties. Like if a man was wearing a red tie, other gay men would know like, okay, like he's in the community with me. Like there is so much that is just completely wiped by just the fact that we're looking at the Stonewall started and now it's going up from here, which also isn't even the case anymore. But it's just like a really big like problem, I think.
It absolutely blows my mind that something that actually happened is like we don't know about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Yeah. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, there, like, obviously, there was struggles for queer people, always have
yeah.
been, always will be. But there was, there was some culture that was being celebrated, that was, accepted
Mhm.
and flourishing before the Stonewall riot and after the Stonewall riot. And
Mhm.
we're struggling now, just like we did back then. So it's not so black and white that, like, I think a lot of people think queer history is.
I hope to God that like, because for trans people right now, like the transgender community is going through something right now, and I hope to God in 100 years, like kids will learn about it, about what's going on right now. You know what I mean? I
Mm-hmm,
hope to
mm-hmm.
God that like things are different then. That this right now isn't being written off in 100. God,
Right.
that's terrifying.
Right, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
terrifying.
no, it really is, and it's really sad. And like, I hate how like I just got said the other day that um, Caitlyn Jenner started being transgender. I was like, huh?
Oh,
No, no, no.
oh
Actually, I
God.
can give you an exact example of what was his last name? George Hall, I believe. He trans man in rural America from 19 in the early 1900s, lived as a very successful trans man, had a wife, had kids, had a farm, and nobody knew that he was trans until he was died and they did the autopsy. But
Oh
sure,
shit.
Caitlyn Jenner started being transgender. uh,
Oh God.
so it's
Imagine
just
thinking that being so fucking wrong. Oh my God. Oh, I would love it if somebody said that to me. I would love it. Oh. Oh.
yeah, yup. It's yeah. People say it. People love to say
Look,
it.
the only fucking reason that Republicans or transphobes know about Caitlyn Jenner is because she's a Republican herself. Like she's the only one that like not the only one, but like of this generation, of this timeline that like said she was trans while being right winged.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
we are here. She is not the first person. Like
Nope. Right. Right. And right. Exactly. And it's just really, really, really irritates me when like people call it like a fad, or like a trend or whatever. Because like you're telling me that okay, sure, this trend started in 1800s, but yeah, if you want to call it a trend, go for it.
no, dead ass. Look, again, I don't know jack fucking shit about queer history. I'm call me a bad trans guy, whatever. I don't know jack shit about it, but I know damn well that like we've been around for such a long time, and I didn't need anybody to tell me that. Like,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. That's like the worst thing a transphobic Republican person can say is that this is new and that we're all just this is the new trend.
Yeah.
Like it's a
I'm being
fucking TikTok
trendy.
dance.
Yeah.
Like fuck you.
Right.
Like
Right. Exactly.
as if you're
Uh-huh.
boiling my fucking identity down to a trend. Fucking
Ooh,
bye.
that is so true. I never realized it like that. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
that is essentially what they're saying. Boy. That just got me even more mad. Like, I need to move in my seat. Oh my god. Like, that is
I need
so
to adjust.
that's so true though. Like that's exactly what they're doing. Oh man.
Mhm. It's because they struggle with their own identity and don't have enough love for themselves.
Hmm,
That's all it
hmm.
is.
Or just like the concept of being able to actually look inward, like, or the
Mhm.
ability, I think is a better way
Mhm.
to say that.
And there's nothing interesting about yourself. Like you have to put down other people. That's
Mm,
my thing. Like you are so bored and unhappy with yourself, they have to make other people feel like shit.
right.
Like especially like I don't know. I find in typically I find in cis men that they hate it. hate it with their entire being when somebody else is a victim. And I think that's where it stems from, is that like nobody else is allowed to go through something hard. Nobody.
No.
Because men have to go to work every day and bring home the money for the women. Like, give me a fucking break. You
Right.
hate to see other people struggling because you have to be the main character. Like, please, you were the main character for billions of years. Can we stop now?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
can you share,
Relax.
maybe?
Take a
Like,
seat. It's like, it's actually kind of nice to take a seat sometimes and watch other people flourish or whatever.
right. Like, God, you hate to see other people struggling or winning. Like,
Right. Yeah. I know.
but
That was a lot.
damn, I'm glad that I finally got to talk about, queer history and being a trans teacher / student, like, because it's something that people have been asking me to talk about for a long time. But I guess I'm, again, a bad trans guy, and I couldn't share that experience or share any knowledge on it without somebody else. So I'm glad that I finally got to do that. So I appreciate you for that.
Yeah.
Now you know what's coming. Now we're at the end. We are 2 hours in. Your trans song of the week.
Yeah.
Okay. This song, I didn't know. I know this song. I've always known this song.
Right. How do you not? How do you not know this song?
But I didn't know what the title was or who the artist was. So I punched this. I punched this into YouTube.
Oh my god, this is amazing. This is hilarious.
I put it into YouTube, and like it takes it's like it's instrumental in the beginning, so like it takes a while for the lyrics to come.
Yeah.
And as soon as those lyrics hit, I was like, oh my god,
this fucking kid.
So tell me about your favorite trans song. What's it
yes.
called?
So it is "Carry On Wayward Son" by Kansas. Okay. Anyway,
Don't you cry
no more. Yes. Oh, chills every time. Yeah. I mean, I love it for a few different reasons, because one of the biggest like themes of my transition, I think, is I just need to keep moving forward. And that also just can apply to my life. Like as I mentioned, homeless at 13, really had to like figure shit out. I just had to carry on. And I don't know who my dad is, and that was also like a really tough part of my like transition in childhood, is just never having like a father figure. I always wanted that. So like this song is like, I don't know, to me this is a like, I picture like a father saying this to their son. And so like, I don't know, Kansas, maybe you're my dad now, I don't know. So I also see it that way. And then my sister, she's like has saved my life in more ways than one, and we love Supernatural. That is like one of like our first like bonding experiences.
Dude, I had no idea that song was like so popular in the Supernatural community.
Yeah,
I'm looking through the comments on YouTube. I'm like, damn, a lot of Supernatural people here. Like,
yeah. So it's like their theme song.
Wow.
So I just like, this song was just like, it fit everything in me. And this honestly wasn't even like the first song that popped into my head, but once I was like going through my music, I was like, oh, this is the song that resonates. So
I love that, because that's a song from like my childhood. And
yeah,
it's funny when you say like a dad song, because my dad would always play that. It's a classic rock dad song.
That too. I didn't even think of that. Yeah,
like 100%.
Yeah,
I love that. And like most things in life, it sounds so fucking cliche, but like most things in life boil down to just keep going, because what else are you supposed to do? Like, there's no fix to certain things. There's nothing.
Right.
There's just nothing, except for just waking up every day and feeling it until you don't feel it anymore. Like, and that goes into being trans a lot more than people think, and that sucks. That being trans, identifying as who you want to be and just expressing yourself, has to be boiled down to just getting through it.
Yes.
Like,
oh,
wild.
Yes,
Wild.
exactly.
But But thank you for sharing that song. I really appreciate it. I definitely think anybody who doesn't know that song has been living under a rock, so you should definitely go check it out. It's a
Please,
good one,
please.
especially if you like classic rock, because
Yeah.
that's
The
one of those
guitar riffs.
songs. Oh yeah, that's one of those songs they play like at a bar or something, like
Yeah.
karaoke night. Like, oh, that's one of those, and
Uh-huh.
everybody's singing along. Oh,
Agreed.
I was having a horrible week, and I listened to that song, and I felt something for the first time in a week. I was like, yes,
Yes. Oh yeah, it is like definitely one of my instant go-tos when I am feeling like dog poop.
Are you a classic rock man? Do you like classic rock?
Shamefully. I have a playlist on Apple Music called I Think I'm Hilarious. Hi Hungry, I'm Dad. And it's just classic dad rock. Nickelback, Kansas.
Oh my!
Yes!
Don't even fucking get me started on Nickelback. Dude, do you know the song Rockstar by Nickelback?
How could you not? Every time.
It
Mhm.
is trans song of the world. Like,
agreed wholeheartedly. So the song that I was actually gonna put was Lullaby by Nickelback. Do you know that song? I was gonna do that one because that one got me through some tough ass shit. But
dude, everybody be hating on Nickelback for what?
For what? I
don't get it. Like,
I
that
really
man is
don't.
talented.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Now that we settled that.
right. So we're okay. So what I got is we're gonna go to the Louis Tomlinson concert while listening to Nickelback. Got it. Okay.
And we're gonna live in Vermont. Yes.
right. Can't forget where.
Dude, but for real, and then I'm done. I swear, everybody. I'm sorry, but like the song "Rockstar" by Nickelback, I listen to it every time. What are the lyrics? It's I'm gonna cut my hair, change my name. Every time I'm like, me. I cut my hair, I changed my name.
Literally.
Like, please sit down.
You can't
Cody.
get more trans than that.
Right? Come on. But anywho, thank you for sharing that song. I appreciate it. Definitely, I didn't have that song liked on Spotify. It's liked now.
Oh, good,
please.
good. Okay, so now I just expect Kansas to like call me up, be like, "Hey, Nathan, thanks for getting all the trans masks out there to support my music."
Yeah, like that guy's watching my podcast. See, like classic rock. Sometimes I'm like, damn, they're probably transphobic.
Oh, 100%. You know who? Oh my god, is so transphobic, but I love just one specific song. Kid Rock.
I knew you were gonna say Kid Rock.
That, oh my god, I get in my feels, and then I remember who he is, and I'm like, damn.
I know, dude. I fucking that whole Bud Light thing. He was like trying to kill transgender people on the internet, like pretending he was shooting them, whatever. Yeah. And then I think Max sent me a screenshot of him 2 months later drinking a Bud Light, like at a bar. Like, you fucking hypocrite.
You're so stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but I hate calling people stupid, but like, please.
Stupid.
Right.
Stupid.
Just a little bit of more critical skills, please. I'm begging you.
Like, fuck Kid Rock, but all summer long goes hard.
Oh, exactly. Like, it's just
too fucking good. You get it. Really man. Is. You get me.
Yes. And I feel like you get me. It's mutual here.
We see each other.
Yeah,
we see each other.
I see you. Do you see me? Yes, I see you.
Oh god. Fucking sweating. Okay.
No, literally. Oh, no, that's gross. Never mind.
What?
My upper lip is like drenched. Like my poor little mustache. Like,
my poor little mustache. Oh fuck! I think this is the most I've laughed on an episode.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
Go us.
Yeah, go us. Go team.
All right, Nate. Give me your socials so people can follow you.
Yeah. I really only have my Instagram. I mean, I'm on Facebook too, but like,
Fuck Facebook.
yeah, we don't need that. So it's Diorio period 1023, Diorio.
Period.
Yeah.
Go follow Nate. Nate's amazing. I love Nate. You should definitely follow him.
Love you too.
Follow me at HRT Podcast on TikTok and Instagram. I post on there every single day. Make sure you follow me and subscribe to me on Patreon. I want to create merch, but that costs money, and I can't do that unless you subscribe to my Patreon. So do that, please. I just did an episode on packing on Patreon, so you're really missing out if you are not subscribed. And join the HRT server on Discord. I would greatly appreciate it. Nate is the best mod ever, so we will both say hi to you if you join.
Yep.
And
like quite literally.
yeah, we are on it with that. every time someone joins, it's either me or Nate being like, "Hi, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you grab some rolls. How you doing?" Every time. So we won't miss you. Make sure you join. And that's about it. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment here so that I can keep putting out quality content. I drop videos every Tuesday. Turn that little notifications thing on so you know when I post. And that's about it. Please share my podcast. I need more views. Okay, that's about it. This is a chaotic fucking episode, and I'm so here for it.
So chaotic.
All right. Thank you so much for being on, Nate. I really appreciate it. This was great.
Oh yeah, no, this was super fun. Yeah, I'm sorry, like it was a long time, but
please,
I think it was good.
Me too. All right, guys, I will see you next week. Bye.